Jack Della Maddalena is done staying quiet as he just declared the BMF belt his while aiming his anger at Ilia Topuria. Now, both fighters are setting their sights on Islam Makhachev, and the situation is becoming explosive. Looking back, Ilia Topuria didn't hold back when it came to showing who's on top. He jumped on Twitter with a bold move, posting a clean shot of his championship belt alongside the short but powerful caption, "Still mine." The message was impossible to miss. With this bold claim from Ilia's side, Jack Della Maddalena wasn't going to let it go. Known for his sharp comebacks, JDM took to Instagram and fired back with a story saying, "Little fella is little confused," making his stance clear. Meanwhile, Max Holloway didn't hold back when asked about Ilia Topuria calling himself the BMF champion. The former featherweight king made it clear he thinks Topuria's claim and the belt itself don't mean much. Holloway's words cut deep, pointing out the UFC didn't officially recognize the belt and mocking the idea of spending big money on something he calls fake.
Oh, for sure, you know, at the end of the day, when the UFC didn't put it up, it is what it is, you know, but, you know, it just makes no sense what he's doing, walking around with it or whatever, you know. Did you see Islam walking around with a champion belt after beating Volk 2 times, you know what I mean? Like, it is what it, like, the belt was on the line, get over it, brother, you know, like, why you spend money on a damn fucking belt, you know? That's just crazy to me. I know you're rich now, but come on, that is a waste of money.
On the other side, Ilia Topuria hasn't stayed quiet amid the debate over the BMF belt. In a recent interview, he confidently addressed the criticism, making it clear he wants to build a legacy that breaks past traditional UFC titles and creates something entirely new for the sport. Talk of a potential rematch between Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway has been building momentum. Fans and analysts alike are debating whether Ilia's recent performances have earned him another high-stakes showdown with Max. With both the BMF and lightweight titles in the conversation, UFC President Dana White stepped in to share his perspective on where each fighter stands and what could come next.
Match back, or do you think a performance like this shoes him right up there?
I think he's in a great position right now. He just defends that BMF title. He's ranked number 4 in the world there, and anything is possible for Max right now.
Yeah, I don't want to put you on the spot. Do you think Ilia has done enough to fight Max for the BMF title and the lightweight title at the same time?
Yes, I do.
Fair enough.
Adding on, the rivalry between Jack Della Maddalena and Ilia Topuria is heating up, with both fighters throwing serious shade. MMA insiders quickly caught on, and the reactions have been priceless. Let's break down what MMA Guru had to say about these back and forths.
Look at JDM's story. Thoughts? PS. Fat with a PH, eh? I'll take it. Mate, let's fucking check out JDM's story. What's his story? Still mine. Ilia Topuria said still mine with the BMF belt, and JDM said little fella's a little confused. JDM's got his own BMF belt, dude. He's the lineal BMF champ. He is.
Furthermore, MMA Guru doesn't hold back on poking fun at the whole BMF belt drama. Comparing it to WWE theatrics, he jokes about the idea of creating ridiculous new belts, mocking the growing confusion around unofficial titles. This lighthearted take shows how some experts are viewing the whole BMF situation.
He should do Marab versus Kayla Harrison for the Friends with Benefits belt. Okay, sure. Top 10 BMF rankings? No, I'm not even entertaining this stupid WWE shit. They would call it the PM's Shampax belt. Okay, PMS Shampax belt, sorry. A fun fact, everyone Ilia beat won their next fight. That's true. Well, we don't know about Oliveira yet.
Shifting gears, MMA Guru focuses on Ilia's track record inside the octagon. He began analyzing the performances of fighters who faced Ilia and what happened to them afterward. With his usual mix of humor and sharp commentary, he offered an unfiltered look at Ilia's past opponents and their post-fight careers.
That's true. Well, we don't know about Oliveira yet. So we'll see. Have you seen Everyone Ilia beat. Josh Emmett beat Bryce Mitchell. Bryce Mitchell did get a win afterwards, didn't he, against Kron Gracie. Damon Jackson may have been coming up. Yeah, I think maybe that could be true. Maybe not Yusuf Zalal, though, unless it was on the regional scene that he got his win back. He might have been cut after that. Could be true. Could be true. Well, that's unfair because Ryan Hall never fought again. So that's kind of unfair. We'll see. Pay-per-view is expensive, dude. I owe you. Impression of Gay Connor. Somebody fucking sniff a line out me gooch, mate.
On the other side, Ilia Topuria continues to show the same fiery confidence that made him a rising star. When asked about his competition, he dismissed the idea that anyone he's faced compares to him. Critics might call him cocky, but Ilia sees it as unshakable self-belief, making it clear he feels superior in every aspect of the fight game.
Someone like me, I'm telling you, it's not like, maybe I sound a little bit cocky, that the people thinks that I'm overconfident, but I know how good I am, you know, and I don't care what the people says. I know that I'm better than him everywhere. Like, if the fight takes...
Furthermore, Ilia Topuria has been very open about his true ambitions in the fight game. In a recent interview, he revealed that his main target has always been Islam Makhachev. However, with Islam moving in a different direction, Ilia says he's forced to shift his focus.
When you get the better of
At some point, I was a little bit sad because I didn't want to fight against him since the beginning. My real goal always was Islam. But since he decided to run away, it has to be Charles.
Do you think he is...
Ilia Topuria has reignited the conversation about Islam Makhachev's move to welterweight, giving it a bold twist. Rather than treating it as old news, Ilia frames the move as proof of his growing threat, suggesting that both Islam and Khabib's camp recognize the danger he brings. He's turning this narrative into fuel, making it clear he's ready to chase that fight wherever it happened.
Listen, I think that he took a great decision. If the UFC would offer him to fight against Justin Gaethje or another contender in the division, I think that he would stay at 155. But with me coming up, he was like, I don't have to take this risk. I'm gonna move up to the 170. I'm gonna try to get another belt, and that's all, because he knows that I'm dangerous. He knows that I'm gonna put him to sleep. Even Khabib. The only reason they don't want me to fight against him, because they know that I'm gonna beat him.
Moving on, Ilia Topuria has been turning heads with his bold comments about Islam Makhachev and the Dagestani fighting style. In a recent interview, Ilia didn't hesitate to throw verbal jabs, questioning Islam's popularity and even suggesting that fighters from Dagestan might need to rethink their training approach.
He said that no one gives an about Islam.
No one gives a about him. Even in Dagestan, when he's fighting, the people goes to sleep and they watch his fight in the morning.
Is it true? How did you get that information?
I know that.
You know?
I know that from people that lives in Dagestan.
You got people on the ground in Dagestan.
Yeah.
Islam, I don't know if you saw this, has been training with someone that you've trained with. This guy's come 2-3 years in Dagestan. Is this Islam trying to prepare for you already?
The last fight that I remember when a Georgian faced a Dagestani guy, it was Merab against their cousin, right? We all know what happened. They don't have to make that mistake to send them there. Maybe they have to go to Georgia and learn some wrestling.
You've got a great facility in your house. Should people start spending 2-3 years in the Topuria house and forget?
Not specifically in my house. They can go to Georgia.
Moving on, Chael Sonnen, never one to hold back his opinions, recently broke down how he believes fighters should truly be ranked. Instead of focusing only on champions, Chael offered a different perspective on how to identify the best athletes in each division. In his usual sharp style, he explained how rankings should separate champions from contenders and lead to a true pound-for-pound discussion.
They get together and just ask a real simple question. Who do you think the best fighter in each weight class is? Do not rank the champion. The champion goes in a category known as champion. Rank everybody else until you come to the pound for pound, at which point you can say any name you want, including the champion. Great. I share this with you because the definition actually came out today.
Meanwhile, the idea of a UFC super fight between Ilia Topuria and Islam Makhachev has sparked intense debate among fighters and fans. Recently, Dustin Poirier shared his honest thoughts on the matchup, giving credit to Ilia's striking power while questioning the size and wrestling challenge Islam would bring. Poirier also weighed in on whether Ilia should first focus on defending his lightweight title.
Ilia. Who should be next for Ilia? 55 has always been so cloudy at the top. Maybe Gaethje. I think him going to 170 to fight Islam, if Islam wins, is a stretch. You know, Islam's big, man. I've never seen Ilia in person, but he seems smaller. I know obviously he can knock anyone out. I do think if they fight, Ilia can knock anybody out from 45 to 170. He has the skills, the power, the technique, and but we've just never seen him in there with somebody that big and somebody with that caliber of wrestling. But I think he should defend the 55 title a few times before that's talked about. We'll see.
Furthermore, the hype around a possible Ilia Topuria versus Islam Makhachev fight has reached a fever pitch, with plenty of trash talk flying both ways. Recently, the Kairos Bros broke down the situation, highlighting Ilia's bold claims and willingness to chase titles across weight classes. They shared some funny and insightful takes on Ilia's mindset and what this fight could mean.
Ilia has gone at Islam, saying he's a pussy, saying that he ran away.
Say he's boring. Ilia did come out today in his defense and did say, look, I don't think he's ducking me. He's just going for his destiny, his dream of having 2 belts. Ilia said he's happy to go up to 170 and fight Islam there.
Imagine Ilia just speed running all the way up to welterweight to become a 3-division champ.
If Islam does win, that's a fight to make.
He says the reason he can do it, he's trained with welterweights before and he believes he can knock anyone out. An analogy he gave, which I thought was hilarious, is when you're in a street fight and I've got to defend my missus, I'm not saying what do they weigh and what are they coming in at and what are they cutting weight to. I'm just going in to knock someone out. You got to admire the confidence.
Meanwhile, Ilia Topuria's knockout power has left both fans and fighters stunned, especially after his string of dominant wins over big names like Volkanovski, Charles Oliveira, and Max Holloway. Former UFC champion Eddie Alvarez recently shared his reaction to Ilia's performance, admitting he was surprised by just how devastating Topuria's power was, particularly in the finish against Charles.
My biggest thing was I didn't think Ilia was going to put him out before he hit the canvas. Everybody kind of puts Charles down. Everybody knew Ilia was going to put Charles down. I didn't know he was going to put him out like that. So, yeah, I was shocked. And when you look at the last 3 guys, and Volkanovski and Charles and who was the third that I'm thinking of that he beat?
Max Holloway.
Max Holloway. These are legends back to back that he's knocking out. The guy's special, man. He's special.
Well, I know he has.
After praising Ilia Topuria's knockout ability, Eddie turned the spotlight toward the unanswered questions about Ilia's ground game. He pointed out that while Ilia's striking is world class, the real test would come against someone like Islam Makhachev, a fighter known for suffocating pressure and relentless grappling.
Is the job done?
That's a tough call. I'd actually have to watch a little bit more tape to figure that out. What I do want to see out of Ilia, what I really want to see him pushed at, is I want to see him on the ground and back up, and on the ground and back up, and see if he can transition from one thing to the next and still keep his cardio and still keep his spirit, the way his spirit is strong and the way he's still able to keep his conditioning. I want to see him down and up, down and up, down and up. And I think a guy like Makhachev can kind of push him in that way to make him do that. But on the flip side,
furthermore, Chael Sonnen recently stepped in with his signature unfiltered take, dissecting the rankings shakeup. He explained why the decision to place Ilia above Islam was so surprising, and why this rivalry is now about more than just belts. It's about legacy.
So it leaves the #1 spot, obviously. Have you guys seen the rankings? Obviously, the #1 spot goes to Islam, which is then going to have us something to debate. Should have it been Ilia? Or are we responsible enough to resist Errol Hawani's favorite term, the recency bias, and keep Islam on top? Wrong, wrong, and wrong. And guys, I was right there with you. I also thought that it would be Islam. They gave it to Topuria. Now, it wouldn't have been big news if they gave it to Islam. It would have been a talking point. It would have been.
After revealing the ranking shocker, Chael doubled down on why Ilia Topuria was placed above Islam Makhachev. He explained how the ranking system treats champions differently, insisting that Ilia's current standing is based on undeniable recognition. Chael's tone shifted from surprise to conviction as he emphasized why the committee made this move.
It would have been to something that I might have come over here today and I might have discussed with you, and I might not have. Instead, it's my lead story. They gave it to Ilia. They put Ilia over Islam. And you know what? I don't think it's possible not to. I don't think it's possible not to. You have a champion of the world. You have the champion of the division, whose success is so recognized by the very few criterion of the rankings committee that he can't even be ranked. Not within his weight class. He must go on top. He must. Everybody else can be ranked. He is only eligible to the ranking of pound for pound. How would you take a sitting world?
Chael then went even further, claiming that Ilia Topuria's dominance is being held back only by technicalities. He argued that Ilia deserves recognition as a 3-belt holder and stressed that no one, including Islam, should be ranked ahead of him. Chael praised the rankings committee for making what he called the right and bold decision.
Ilia Topuria should be standing with 3 belts, which is one more than anybody else has ever had right now, right here in this moment. Clerical decisions prevented 2 of those belts from being around his shoulder and waist right now. So he stands there with 1. It's still 1 more. Again, this is administratively, this is the power of the pen, but that's 1 more than Islam has. Islam is not the king of the division according to the rankings. Jack is. Islam is officially, and it's in a very good spot, he's the #1 contender. How could you reasonably argue that?
The rivalry between Jack Della Maddalena and Ilia Topuria is becoming one of the most talked about stories in the fight world. Both men are not just aiming for each other, but also setting their sights on Islam Makhachev, a clash that could shake the entire UFC landscape. With Ilia's unstoppable confidence and JDM's refusal to back down, every new comment or social media post adds more fire to the hype. Add in the possibility of a super fight with Islam, and we're looking at a showdown that could define the next era of MMA. Who do you think comes out on top if these matchups happen? Ilia Topuria, Jack Della Maddalena, or Islam Makhachev? Drop your predictions in the comments.